overpopulation in big cities. Our team members are Linh, Giang, and Ruben. Today we will talk about four parts: its definition, cause, and effects and solution of overpopulation in big cities. Now let's come to the first part: its definition, presented by Ruben.
Thank you, Rob, for introducing us to the topic. Well, before this presentation, we have already discussed about the overpopulation. However, we are going to see it again. So, overpopulation refers, it is a state of the human population that exceeding the capacity of a particular city or a country. Infrastructure such as bridges and roads and natural resources. For example, Hanoi has a capacity for 10 million people, and if there are more than 10 million people, there is more than 10 million people in Hanoi, that will be called, or that will be known as overpopulation. So there are several factors for overpopulation. And when it occurs, or when it happens, it comes with some of the effects. And when there is effects, or when there is some problems, we need some solutions. So in the rest of our presentation, we will be looking into the causes of overpopulation, then effects, and some of the solutions. So now I would like to request my friend Rob to take over the time.
Thanks, Ruben, for the presentation. And I'm going to talk about the causes of overpopulation in big cities. The first cause I want to mention about is the immigration. Many people prefer to move to developed countries like the US, UK, Canada, and Australia, where the best facilities are available, such as medical, education, security, and employment, which make the places crowded. And also, and if the number of people leaving the country is less than the number of people entering the country, it leads to more demand for food, energy, clothes, and warmth, and eventually it gives rise to the shortage of resources. And the second cause I want to mention about is the lack of family planning. Most developing countries nowadays have a large number of people who are illiterate. They live below the poverty line, have no or little knowledge about family planning. Besides, getting their children married at the early age can increase the chance of producing more kids. And those people are unable to understand the harmful effects of overpopulation, as well as the lack of quality education can prompt them to to avoid the family planning measures. And the final cause I want to mention about is the lack of female education. Though the female access to education has increased over the years, the gender gap remains. For example, roughly 130 million girls worldwide are outschooled currently, and an estimated 15 million girls of primary school age will never learn to read and write, compared with 10 million boys. Also, increasing and encouraging education among women and girls can have plenty of positive ripple effects, such as delayed childbearing, healthier children, and an increase in workforce participation. Accordingly, plenty of evidence such as the negative correlation between female education and fertility rates. For example, if an increased female education can decrease or delay the fertility and provide the opportunities for girls beyond the early marriage, it can also help to mitigate the overpopulation trends. And that's the end of my presentation. Let's come to the effect parts of that.
I am Brown and I will talk to the harmful effects of population. First, ecological degradation. An increase in the population will inevitably increase pressure leading to more deforestation. Decreased biodiversity and spike in population and emission, which will exacerbate climate change. Ultimately, unless we take action to help minimize further getting into the remainder of this century, many scientists believe the additional stress on the planet will lead to ecological disruption and collapse to severe threaten the viability of life on Earth as we know. If by in the global population has a measurable impact on the planet's health, according to estimates in a study by Weiss and Nicholas, 2017, a family having one fewer child would reduce emissions by 58.6 tons carbon dioxide equivalent per year in developed countries. Rising unemployment. When a country becomes overpopulated, it's rising unemployment as their future to support a large number of people. The rise in unemployment gives rise to crises as people want to feed their family and provide them basic amenity of life. And finally, water shortage. Only 1% of the world water is fresh and accessible. Overpopulation is a major issue that creates immense pressure on the world freshwater supply. As per her study, the human demand for freshwater would stand at approximately 70% of freshwater available on the planet by 2025. Therefore, people living in improved rice appear that already have limited access to such water will be upgraded. And then the top,
Thank you. Now I'm going to move to my part, which is solutions. In my opinion, one of the best solutions that humanity can provide now, can you guess, is better education, better sex education. One of the first measures is to implement policies reflecting social changes. Educating masses will help them to understand the need to have one or two children at the most. Similarly, education plays a vital role in understanding understanding the latest technologies that are making the huge wave in the world of computing. Families that are struggling with finances, family that are facing hard life, and religious family, they choose to have 4, 5, 6, or even more children. I think they should be discouraged. Family planning and efficient birth control can make women can help women to make their own reproductive choices. Open dialogue about the abortion and voluntary sterilization should be seen when we are talking about overpopulation. The second solution that we can provide is social marketing and social media marketing. As we all know, social media is the biggest platform nowadays, and I think it's the great way to spread the information about overpopulation. Social marketing has been already started by some societies to educate public about overpopulation effects. The intervention can be spread worldwide with not a lot of money and pretty easily, with printing materials such as booklets, brochures, posters, stickers, etc. And they can be distributed in the places such as parking lots, shopping malls, parks, universities, schools, local food markets. And the last solutions that can probably work very well, in my opinion, I think, is tax benefits or concessions. The governments of various countries might have come up with some some policies related to tax to curb overpopulation problem. One of them might be the way for certain part of income tax or lowering the income tax for families who have one single or two children. As we humans are more inclined toward money, I think this is a great way to provide the solution. Thank you. That was the end of our presentation. I hope it was informative and interesting.